Every spring, your robin comes back to the exact same branch. This is what that means. You might have asked yourself, do robins return to the same garden year after year? The answer is a story of incredible loyalty, painted against a backdrop of harsh survival. Today, we are going to explore 5 hidden truths about your robin's territory. These are 5 behavioral secrets that tie this tiny bird to your garden forever. And I promise you, the 5th truth is something most people never realize, and it will break your heart. Let us walk into the garden, quietly, and observe the invisible world it has built around you. It is a world of silent borders, ancient instincts, and a connection deeper than you ever imagined. Number 1. The first arrival is never an accident. When your robin first appeared in your garden, it was likely late winter. It was a young bird, perhaps only a few months old, navigating a vast and dangerous world. It had survived its first flights, dodging predators, searching desperately for a safe haven to claim as its own. It did not just land on your fence by chance to rest its wings for a moment. It was evaluating every single detail of your property with intense scrutiny. It was looking at the density of your hedges, checking if they could hide a nest from predators. It was assessing the quality of the soil, searching for the promise of worms beneath the frost. And most importantly, it was watching you from the shadows. It watched you dig the earth, exposing hidden insects and turning over the damp soil. It realized that your presence meant food, safety, and a reliable source of life. When it finally decided to stay, it was not just finding a place to eat for the afternoon, it was signing a survival contract with your specific patch of earth. From that moment on, it decided that your garden was its entire universe. It stopped wandering, it stopped searching, and it laid down its roots in your soil. It claimed the soil, the fallen leaves, and the deep shadows under your bushes. You thought you were just feeding a random bird passing through your life, but it had already mapped out its future, right there outside your kitchen window. Every morning, it patrols this chosen land, making sure it remains perfectly intact. It knows the exact location of every spiderweb hidden in the autumn leaves. It remembers where the earthworms surface after a heavy, warm rain. It knows the rhythm of the shadows as the sun moves across your lawn. Your garden is no longer yours alone to command. It has been quietly claimed by a creature that weighs less than a handful of soil. This is a lifelong commitment, forged in the biting cold of its very first year, and it will hold on to this land until its very last breath. Number 2. The invisible walls of memory. If you look out at your lawn, you see a continuous, open stretch of grass. But if you could see the world through the eyes of your robin, you would see fortresses. Your garden is completely divided by invisible, towering walls of sound and memory. There are no physical fences or warning signs to mark a robin bird territory. You cannot see the lines drawn across the grass, or the invisible walls rising up into the branches. Instead, the boundaries are drawn entirely within its sharp, uncompromising mind. It knows precisely which branch marks the absolute end of its kingdom. It knows exactly where the neighboring robin's land begins, down to the very millimeter. If you watch closely, you will see it stop at an invisible line suspended in the air. It will not cross that line, and it will violently defend anyone who tries to enter its side. It does not matter if the intruder is larger or stronger. The robin will fight with absolute fury. This spatial memory is a remarkable, almost terrifying feat of nature. Do birds remember their home? The answer is far more profound than you might think. Your robin has memorized the geometry of your entire property. It knows the height of your brick walls, the thickness of your shrubs, and the steep angles of your roof. When you change something in the garden, like moving a heavy pot or trimming an overgrown hedge, it notices immediately. It must reevaluate the newly exposed borders and adjust its mental map of safety. You are living inside a heavily guarded kingdom, meticulously mapped out every single day. The red breast of the robin is not just a beautiful, festive decoration for your winter garden. It is a bright warning flag hoisted high on the invisible walls of its territory. It tells the entire world that this specific garden is taken, and it will fight to the death to keep it. Every flutter of its wings is a calculated display of power and dominance over its chosen land. This small bird is fighting an invisible, endless war right above your flower beds. It patrols the perimeter from dawn until dusk, never letting its guard down, and you are standing right in the middle of its fiercely protected, invisible domain. Number 3. The Maestro's chosen stage. Have you ever noticed that your robin always seems to sing from the exact same spot? It might be the highest branch of your old apple tree, or the metallic top of your television antenna. This is not a random, lazy choice made out of mere convenience. Long before you even noticed it singing, your robin was actively testing the acoustics of your garden. It flew from branch to branch, from the wooden fence to the slate roof, projecting its voice into the wind. It was searching for the perfect stage, the one place where its song would carry the absolute furthest. It needed a spot with no physical obstacles, where the sound waves could bounce off your house perfectly. Once it found that perfect acoustic sweet spot, it locked it permanently into its memory. This is its designated song post, its personal, elevated concert hall. And every time it sings from there, it is not singing out of joy or artistic expression. It is not performing a cheerful melody to welcome the morning sun. It is broadcasting a relentless, chilling message of ownership to any rival listening in the cold distance. The European robin has one of the most complex, unpredictable songs of any garden bird. It does not just repeat the same simple tune, it strings together hundreds of different, melancholic phrases. And what is truly fascinating is how it actively adapts its voice to your specific environment. If you live near a busy, noisy road, it might sing much louder or change its pitch to cut through the heavy traffic. It knows exactly how to manipulate its vocal cords so that its message is never lost in the wind. It tunes its beautiful voice specifically to the unique shape and soundscape of your home. It is a maestro, standing on its carefully chosen stage, commanding the absolute attention of the neighborhood. So the next time you hear it singing loudly from that familiar bare branch, listen very closely. It is a performance engineered perfectly for the exact dimensions of your backyard. It is the pure sound of absolute ownership, echoing from the best seat in the house. It is a vocal monument built every single day, warning the world to stay away from your garden. And it will continue to sing from that spot until another bird forces it down. Number 4. The miracle of the return. When the bitter winter finally fades and the bright spring blossoms arrive, a familiar face appears. You see a robin sitting on that same acoustic branch, singing the same complex, echoing song. And you wonder, is it the same exact bird that kept you company through the dark months of last year? This brings us to the incredible, awe-inspiring phenomenon known as robin site fidelity. The loyalty of this tiny, fragile creature to a single location is almost beyond human comprehension. If a robin somehow survives the brutal winter, there is a very high chance it will return to the exact same territory. It will ignore thousands of other perfectly good gardens on its journey back. It will not just return to the same general neighborhood or the same quiet street. It will navigate through storms and exhaustion to find its way back to your specific address. It will return to the exact same corner of your garden, to the exact same trusted song post. It remembers the safety it found here, the food you provided, and the invisible boundaries it fought so hard for. It remembers the sound of your footsteps on the gravel, and the way you leave the soil turned over. Even after months of freezing cold and desperate, exhausting foraging, the map of your garden remains intact in its mind. This intense level of site fidelity means that the relationship you build with this bird is not temporary. It is a returning resident, a fiercely loyal tenant who considers your garden its one and only true home. When you see it perched on the fence post in early March, looking at you with that dark, intelligent eye, it is silently acknowledging a deep, shared history between the two of you. It looks at you not as a threat, but as a permanent, reliable fixture in its chosen landscape. It knows your daily routines. It knows the familiar squeak of your back door opening, and it knows it is safe here with you. The garden has changed through the harsh seasons. The leaves have fallen, rotted, and grown back again. But the unseen bond between the bird and this specific patch of earth has not broken. It has crossed through the darkest, coldest days of the year, driven purely by a powerful memory of home. And that home, out of millions of possible gardens in the world, happens to be yours. It chose to come back to you, against all natural odds. It chose your garden as the one safe harbor in a world full of dangers. Number 5. The heartbreaking reality of time. This is the hidden truth that makes every single encounter with your robin so incredibly precious. We look at these beautiful birds and see a cheerful symbol of eternal spring and resilient, unending life. When people ask how long do robins live, the answer is often a stark, sobering reminder of how fragile nature truly is. The heartbreaking reality is that the average European robin lifespan is only 13 short months. More than 60% of them will never survive to see the end of their very first year. They are taken by neighborhood cats, struck down by sudden frosts, or simply run out of energy. They face the brutal, freezing cold of long winter nights, the constant, looming threat of predators, and the sheer exhaustion of daily survival. Every single night they go to sleep deep in your hedges, they are fighting a quiet war against the dropping temperatures. So, when you ask, do robins return to the same garden, you must truly understand what that return means. If you see the exact same robin returning to your garden for a second or third consecutive year, it is nothing short of a miracle. You are looking at an exceptional, battle-hardened survivor, a bird that has beaten overwhelming, deadly odds. Its fierce loyalty to your garden is not just a comforting habit. It is a highly successful, calculated strategy for staying alive. It knows every hiding spot, every food source, and every shadow, and that knowledge keeps it safe. It returns because your garden, your soil, and your presence have kept its tiny heart beating. And because its time on this earth is so terribly, unfairly short, it does not waste a single moment. It defends its chosen territory with everything it has, because it is the only world it will ever know. Chances are, the robin you are quietly watching today will spend its entire, brief life within the physical borders of your property. It will be born near here. It will fight here. It will sing its heart out here. And eventually, it will quietly pass away here. Your garden is its entire, vast universe, from the very beginning to the absolute end. It does not dream of distant forests or endless skies. It only dreams of the safety of your hedges. That is why it stares at you so intently, why it sings so incredibly loudly, and why it fights so fiercely in the bushes. It is living a full, dramatic, and intensely beautiful life right in front of your eyes. And you are the silent, privileged guardian of its one and only home. If this robin sounds familiar, if this story feels like yours, subscribe to the Robin Files. A new story every week.